Let me start by saying that I absolutely love my stove and all the cons in the world would not stop me from cooking on her. But let's start with my most asked question, is it easy to clean? And that's kind of a hard question to answer. It's not easy to clean, but nothing really is. For instance, an electric stovetop always to me looks dull, scratched, dirty, and it's hard to remove any of the buildup on it. Whereas my stove, all the parts come off and I can deep soak them and clean them in the sink, which helps a lot. But it is 80 years old, so it's none of those pieces are in perfect condition. So it kind of looks clean, but never looks totally perfect. The other issue is the oven is small. Although the oven is really deep, it goes really far back. I never really used the back of the oven because it would be hard to grab the items back out. The oven is small, and if you're used to having huge ovens, you might find that hard to transition to a smaller oven. I did at first. I was thinking that how do I come from this huge oven to a tiny little one? Then I realized I don't use half the space in my traditional oven, or modern oven, should I say. And it really wasn't that hard to transition to the small oven. I've only run out of oven space one time for Christmas dinner, and that's when I didn't plan ahead and time everything perfectly. So planning ahead and timing things would be the way to solve having a small oven. So let's focus on a pro. I really like how the oven retains heat. So you can turn the gas off after heating up the oven and the well in the back, and it will retain heat for hours afterwards. There is a cookbook called The Idle Hour. There's several versions of it, come with a stove, and it has tons of recipes in there that help you just learn how to use the retained heat. Another pro to me is the oven doesn't have constant airflow. So once you shut off the gas, the oven will become sealed and it retains moisture in the oven. So if you're having an issue with like sourdough bread that seems to just dry out and you need a Dutch oven, you can definitely use that to your advantage. The last con I will say is that it is an old stove, so parts are hard to come by. Although you can find parts on eBay and even buy junked out stoves with all the extra parts, you would need to part one out. Another con, if you're not used to working with gas, it can kind of be scary at first, learning how to light the stove and not blow yourself up. But apart from all that, it's beautiful and I would not work with any other stove.